Now here's our top focus. Taiwan has slammed the World Health Organization by calling it indifferent to their health rights. This after failing to get invited into a key meeting of the body. Taiwan also called out World Health Organization for surrendering to China. In a joint statement by Foreign Minister Joseph Wu and Health Minister Chen Shih-chung, Taiwan's government has said that they would continue to seek participation. Taiwan has urged the WHO to maintain a professional and neutral stance and reject China's political interference. It has further asked WHO to allow Taiwan to join WHO meetings, mechanisms and activities in order to protect the welfare of humanity and jointly combat disease. Taiwan has expressed regret at WHO's continued indifference to the health rights of Taiwan's 23.5 million people. Taiwan was invited to the WHA as an observer nation in 2008, and until 2016, it played an active role in all meetings. But things changed in 2016, the same year when Taiwan elected its new president, Tsai Ing-wen. Taiwan's observer status was revoked after 8 years due to the intense lobbying from the Chinese Communist Party. However, Taiwan's successful handling of COVID-19 for more than half a year has brought renewed attention to its absence from the WHA. US legislators have long called for Taiwan's return to the World Health Assembly, and this time even the G7 has come out in full support. China is standing up in arms against the world when it comes to Taiwan's re-entry to the WHA. On Friday, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson said, and I quote, "To safeguard its sovereignty and territorial integrity, China cannot agree to the Taiwan region's participation in the upcoming session of the World Health Assembly." Taiwan says that Taiwan can only take part if it accepts it as part of one China, and that only Beijing has a right to speak for Taiwan on the international stage, and Taiwan has in any case been given the access it needs during the COVID-19 pandemic. Amid the renewed calls for WHA inclusion, Taiwan has accused China of conspiracy to mar its chances. Earlier this week, a Taiwanese official accused China of spreading fake news about the COVID-19 situation on the island. The Deputy Interior Ministry has said that Taiwan clearly felt the danger represented by Chinese propaganda and misinformation. Meanwhile, Asia correspondent for The Telegraph, Nicola Smith, is joining us live from Taipei City, and she'll get us more on this story. Nicola, first up, since Taiwan has once again been kept out of World Health Assembly, is it fair to say that the WHO has succumbed to Chinese pressure?
I think that would be fair to say. I mean, behind this problem, though, is Beijing, and Beijing is clearly playing politics with not only Taiwan's health, but also global health, because we're in the middle of a pandemic still, and Taiwan has a lot to offer the world in terms of advice on how to handle that pandemic, and it's a real shame that China has blocked Taiwan's participation in such an important meeting.
Right. Now, given the fact that there is a raging pandemic, which you just alluded to, and Taiwan has been at the forefront of successfully dealing with it, how justified do you think is this move?
I don't think it's justified at all, but it's not surprising. Beijing has been playing politics over this issue for 5 years now, specifically on the World Health Assembly. And it's part of a larger move by Beijing to exclude Taiwan from all international bodies and to try and squeeze Taiwan internationally, because Beijing is unhappy with Taiwan's government and unhappy that it does not toe Beijing's line on everything, and that the majority of the Taiwanese people do not believe that they are part of China. So it's within that wider context that this is happening. But it's a very unfortunate coincidence that there is a global pandemic, and that it's harmful to Taiwan to exclude it from this meeting, and it's also harmful to Taiwan's partners and to the rest of the world. As we've seen, this virus doesn't respect borders, and everyone needs to unite and pull together to get through it. So it's certainly very unhelpful of Beijing to block Taiwan's participation in the World Health Assembly. It makes no sense at all.
You just mentioned about Taiwan's partners. Now, Taiwan has strong backing of major Western powers and has been lobbying for access to the WHO's World Health Assembly. How do you think its allies will react to this situation?
I think its allies will react with a sense of frustration. I think it's very unclear why Taiwan is being blocked from the World Health Assembly. There hasn't been a vote on this issue, and it seems that there's been a decision from on high, but no real justification behind that decision. You have some very strong allies of Taiwan who are pushing for its participation. As you mentioned before, the G7 foreign ministers have entered this debate and lobbied for Taiwan's participation. You've also got the US State Department who said that they want Taiwan to be there. So I think, again, it will be part of the bigger picture in a kind of rising frustration with China's foreign policy and just on the bigger picture, really. And China has been showing a lot more aggression over the past year in terms of its foreign policy, and its treatment of Taiwan is part of that.
Before we let you go, Nicola, finally, what do you reckon is the way forward now for Taiwan?
I think Taiwan just needs to keep acting as it has done. It has been handling the pandemic well. There's a few cases just now, and it's doing its best to contain those. On the political arena and geopolitical arena, it just has to keep strengthening its ties with friends and allies, and carry on just governing itself as it has done. And it is doing so under increased pressure from Beijing, but I think it's been making the right moves in terms of keeping the status quo and just governing itself and acting like any other democratic nation would.
Right, that was Nicola Smith reporting live from Taipei City. Thanks so much for joining us.